Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
Starting to pick up.
Yep. Well, that'll be great on live, on a podcast.
Hey, we may lose one of these canopies. There it goes.
Oh, boy.
I knew that was going to happen.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Yeah, you're live, Irma. Welcome. What's up, Irma? How you doing? We got you. Hey, we're tapped into your computer there too, where you work. We can actually see you on video. I hacked your computer. So beautiful earrings today, Irma. You're always beautiful. Very nice.
You're so silly.
All right, here we are. Man, it feels good to be back. It's been a hot minute here on Good Morning Huntsville, so we want to welcome everybody back in, and thanks for giving us a little bit of a break. You know, it was an unintentional break, which I never intended on happening, but good old strep bug got me last week, and finally got over that and ready to get back after. Actually started feeling a little bit better over the weekend. Made it to HLI by the grace of the good Lord, and here we are. We're back at it, and as we go forward, put out a post the other day. We're looking for help here on Hello Huntsville, and we'd love to have some part-time help. And I wanted to lead in with that this morning. Maybe if you're looking for a little side gig, a little side income, reach out to me. Let us know, comment. We're looking for folks to help with some production stuff, but also to keep up to date with our website, some stories and those kind of things. Not just in the event that I'm out, but, it'd be great to have some help. And I'm not asking for free. We're going to pay you. So Kaye Boehning has graciously donated $1 million to us here at the Hello Huntsville platform. So thank you for that, Kaye.
Yeah, I didn't tell you it was monopoly. I didn't tell you it was monopoly money.
Dr. Vodehnal joining us this morning from Long Veterinary Clinic. Good to have you, man. Welcome
Good morning.
in.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. We're going to be talking with Dr. V as the day goes on today and learning more about his practice and all the great things that they do here in Huntsville, and a lot of fun information coming your way this morning. I do want to remind you that we are here on a Wednesday. Big thank you to Kaye Boehning of Tomorrow's Promise. We wouldn't be here without her and their generous support from Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. And also, big shout out to Elliot Herzlich of Elliot's Jewelers for sponsoring our studio here downtown, and Paul Oley of the Gallery. So again, friends, we're so glad to be back. It just felt weird not being here for 3 days, Kaye. And we were going to air some reruns, and I was like, there was information that we aired a rerun a while back on Monday for Labor Day because Walker County was out, and it's just not the same.
Nope.
And so it's just not the same when you do the rerun. So we said, you know what, we're going to take a deep breath, take a break, and get back after it. And
but neither is not being here.
Yeah, so it's good to be back. And we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. And we want to welcome you in this morning. Clay Towsworth of 0 Degree has a special gift that he's going to be dropping off here in a little bit. And for all you candy lovers out there, we got a special prize you're going to be entered in to win today. And also, Quentin Music Man Lewis was our winner, and I'm going to tell you what it was. There was you probably saw it, Kaye. There was a fallacy, if you will. There was something wrong that we've been doing on the show for 2 months. And Quentin, man, I appreciate you, Quentin. I was hoping you wouldn't get it because it cost me $100. My lips started flabbing around, and I said, if somebody ever gets this, I'm going to give them $100. Well, then that day, Quentin messages me, I know what it is, man. I was like, you got to be kidding. So you cost me $100, Quentin, but you know what? I'm a man of my word. You're going to get your money. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But
Are you going to share what it was?
yes, I will whenever we get to, because it's part of our breaks, and I'm going to share it during the break. So before we bring on Dr. V officially, Kaye, how have you been? I got to, spend some time just chatting with you, and HLI went really well. It was a lot of fun. But how have you been? What have you been up to?
Been working on Lasso. We've got, we've got a bunch of cool auction items. We got a firefighter for the day.
Ooh, okay.
So a child can get picked up with a fire truck and taken to the school and be honorary fire chief for the day.
I got to stop here. I'm so glad that you said a child, because I do not want Bridget spending a day with the firefighter. I just, anyways.
Got a tour of the haunted jail. We've got a fishing trip donated. A diamond necklace from Elliot.
Very nice.
There's Joe Montana framed and signed jersey.
A Joe Montana jersey. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That is okay. I'm in.
Now I've went blank. There's going to be a wine pool. There's going to be all kinds of silent auction items to bid on. There'll be desserts to bid on. I've gotten several good desserts lined up. And then Stacy Lawler and Billy Papania are doing our cooking. So promises to be a good
It's
good
going to be a
meal.
lot of fun. I changed Billy's last name, the pronunciation of it, because Papania is cool, but Papania is better. So I like to always say, Billy, Papania is a little Papania.
Gives it some spice.
Yeah, give it a little spice. But I think he's more Cajun, so I'm making it sound Italian. So I don't think it works out. So, well, friends, again, a fun morning that we've got lined up for you, and we appreciate Dr. Vodehnal being here with us this morning. Doc, man, thanks for being here and just
Happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
You bet, and thanks for just kind of hanging out. We're going to talk a little vet action this morning today.
All right.
And wanted to learn more about, your practice and what you guys do. And big thanks to Kaye and Rick for having you on. I know we were trying to schedule this for a few weeks and finally had an opportunity to get over here. So, man,
Yeah,
before...
this is one of my table sponsors, too.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Well, before we, dig into the vet stuff, and I've got a little bit of a heart for that because my sister went to West Texas A&M University, and she wanted to be a veterinarian, but then she took the path of doing like range sciences and those kind of things. But she still enjoys, thinking about it. Here she's in her mid 40s, so I know she still enjoys thinking about what if I would have became a vet. But she loves what she does. And then a good friend of mine back in Georgetown, Dr. Tarleton, was a family friend growing up, and so it was always he was kind of a Hawaiian vet. It was kind of cool. He'd always wear Hawaiian shirts all the time. But let us know just a little bit about your story. I know growing up in Katy and going here to Sam, just kind of, as I joked with you outside, we always ask our guests everything but your social security number.
No, I grew up in Katy, which is now Houston. It's been swallowed up, but grew up out there, went off to Blinn Junior College and transferred out to Sam Houston, did my undergrad and graduate work here, and went off to vet school and went to Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine, which is a school actually down in the Caribbean. So it's U.S. owned and based, and it's AVMA accredited. It was one of the first foreign schools to be accredited, but it was an accelerated curriculum. So instead of doing 2 semesters a year, you did 3, right, which is the way a lot of the old veterinary curriculums were. So you would do a traditional, 15, 16-week semester. You'd take a couple weeks off, and then you'd go right back to it. So instead of getting like a big 3-month break at excuse me, summertime and like a 1 month break at Christmas, you would just go 3 semesters a year. So instead of taking 3 years for your clinical or your preclinical studies, you were done in about 27, 28 months.
So did the location of where this clinic was at, did that have any deciding factor?
Well, it's funny how it happened. You know, I had just finished with my master's, and I was trying to make application for vet school, and I was working for Bob and Liz Consis at the time, who owned at that time 11th Street here in town. And Dr. Bob pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I think you should look into this." And he knew what I was trying to do. And at first I was like, what? And, a school down in the Caribbean? Come on, is this Club Med or something? But I wound up going to an information seminar in San Antonio about it, and made a bunch of phone calls, talked to a lot of deans at vet schools here. And next thing you know, God opened doors, and my wife and I were down there for 2.5 years. And did my clinical studies at LSU, so I got to spend some time down in the swamp, and that was a really cool place to be. And finished up there, went to work in the Kaye area, which I didn't expect to, but again, just God puts you where He puts you when He's putting you there. And so I ended up there for about 3 years, and then had the chance to come back to Huntsville. And so my wife and I were really excited about that. We met here, and we had always talked about how Huntsville was just such a cool place. Really kind of captured both of our hearts going to school here. And so we'd always talked about, wouldn't that be fun to go back and live in Huntsville? And chance came up and jumped on it, and been here ever since.
Whenever you were, studying abroad there for a while, and I think that's so cool. I mean, what were some things that I'm just trying to think of a question here and the way to word it, but how did folks there take care of pets versus the way they take care of pets here?
It was different. There was a lot of on the island there was a lot of livestock, right? So a lot of sheep and goats, a tremendous amount of sheep and goats, and they just kind of did like sort of free ranging herding type stuff. There was still, if you saw cattle, they were still under like a tether, right? So they almost like you'd see cows with almost like a collar and a leash, and they'd be tethered up to a tree somewhere, right? And so, locals would go take them out there, tether them for the day, and they'd have food and water, and at the end of the day, they'd just come back and come get them. Or sheep and goats would just be free grazing in a cane field, and then later on in the day, the guys would come out and move them. So the stray dog population was a big problem there. They're down in the kind of Caribbean, the dogs aren't really very popular, and so a lot of the culture down there, they're afraid of them, and so there's just stray dogs. So the vet school there was constantly spaying, neutering. I mean, we had plenty to keep us busy.
Man,
so
well, so it's I always enjoy folks that come in and talk about different places they've been, because it's like, for me, I went up to Fargo for 8 months, and it was a great place. But even then, staying in America but going to a new place, it was foreign to us.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about actually crossing over a big body
it
of
was
water,
culture
or
shock
going,
for sure.
So it's pretty cool to hear those stories, though, because what you just said is, folks there, it's like having a dog isn't popular. Well, here it's like, that's one thing I told Bridget. I was like, and she was on board. That's why we've been together 10 years. Is I said, we're always going to have a dog. She goes, great, me too. So there we go. That's what kept us together.
Hey, whatever works.
So, well, your journey has been incredible. Just getting to see so much. Dr. Vodehnal again joining us this morning from Long Veterinary Clinic. How long have you been, I guess, here in Huntsville now, and how long has the practice been going?
Sure, I've been in Huntsville. I came here January 5th of 15. Was when I came here, and been here ever since. Clinic's been here for about 45 years, I believe, since the late 70s. Dr. Mallory started it, and then Dr. Long came along, and they were together, and then Dr. Mallory wound up retiring, and Dr. Long ran it, and then I came along, and he and I worked together for several years before he fully retired, and so yeah, just there's plenty in Huntsville to keep you busy, for sure.
Yeah. And I know a lot of folks do know about you guys. Where are you located at?
We're located 1411 14th Street, the old yellow house over off 14th Street. So it's interesting, how many times I'll run into folks that, they'll meet me and they're like, oh, you're a vet, where you work at? And I'm like, oh, Long Vet Clinic, because it's been here for 40, 45 years. And they're like, where? And I'm like, oh, over off, 14th Street. And they're like, I had no idea there was anything over there. I'm like, really? So,
well, come on over,
yeah,
man. So, what time does the coffee start brewing, Doc?
Oh, it's always brewing, right? I've always got coffee. So, but no, we open up. We're Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, and then I'm typically there just about every Saturday from 9 to 12.
What are some of the range of pets? Folks were coming to you and needed help. What kind of animals do you deal with?
We're small animal exclusive. So when I was in school, I did a dual track. So I tracked large and small. It's just the way the curriculum where I went to school was. And so originally I was going to do mixed animal practice, and I quickly found out that it's easier to kind of have a family life and a home life working on four-legged small critters. So my hat's always off to large animal practitioners, just from the vantage point of it is so demanding. A lot of people don't realize you got to basically be accessible 24/7, 365, so horses only colic at night and on the weekends, right? So, and calf pulls always come in threes, right? I learned that much from working at large animal clinics. So, so those guys, I always, hats off to them. We're small animal exclusive, so all cats and dogs, basically.
We had a vet back in Georgetown years ago, and Dr. Rogendorf was his name. Great man. And I found a little dog, and multiple people had kind of a value. And maybe you can help me on this. How can you evaluate? Let's say that there was just a stray dog run down the street. Mm-hmm. You end up bringing her in. What we did was I brought her in. She was not looking good.
Sure.
Had burrs all over. Would later find out she had worms. The dog just wasn't taken care of. But I still did my due diligence, because I thought, what if this dog ran away and his...
Sure.
And so we put out flyers and said, found dog, put a thing in the paper. Nobody ever responded. And so I said, well, cool. After a few weeks, we ended up keeping her. Yeah. Well, everyone around had kind of told me. I went to Dr. Rogendorf. I saw a couple other friends, like I was telling you earlier off camera. I had a veterinary friend that we grew up with too, and they all kind of said she was between 3 and 4 years old. Is there a way how do you age a dog that just runs in off the street? That would seem kind of difficult.
Well, sometimes it is, right? Sometimes you get it right, and then sometimes you realize you get it wrong. And usually when you realize you get it wrong, it's usually years and years later. You're like, well, maybe I overestimated this dog's age, because I doubt the dog's 20. But no, usually teeth is usually one of the first places to look. Yeah, you can kind of tell by their dental wear, and sometimes the wear and tear of life, as well as kind of some gingival recession and things like that. So I kind of always marry it within not just one thing. So I kind of look at the dog as a whole. Sometimes you can look at facial features. Sometimes you can look, they're graying and things like that. But it's you see enough dogs over the years, and I used to always wonder when I first started working in the clinic in the 90s, right? The guy that was my mentor, man, he'd see that dog's 8 years old, or and he was always right, but over the years, you see enough dogs, you kind of start to get, you doing it all the time, it's like anything else that you do in life, you just sort of you probably get better, and you get a little bit more accurate, and you get a little bit more accurate, and so now it's funny. Dr. Green and I at the clinic, we're always. It's always when they want to know how old a dog is, they may go ask him, and then they don't tell me, and then they'll come ask me, and then most of the time we're both, we'll both say the same thing, and we have no idea what the other one answered, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
That's awesome, man. I was just thinking, as some of these guys that have been doing it a long time, whenever they were saying that they just look and they know. I'm sitting here picturing, a vet in this beautiful white jacket, with the name in cursive. Yeah. And he puts his hand up to his temple like this, 8 years old.
Yeah, exactly. That's how that's how you perceive those guys to be, though. But, the guy that's my mentor, I talked to him yesterday evening, matter of fact, and he's a 71 model out of A&M. So this is a guy that's been practicing veterinary medicine for over 50 years, right? Like, he's been doing it longer than I've been alive. But guys like that are, and ladies as well. There's, the profession is so diverse. You've got practitioners. You see them at conferences, and they've been doing it 30, 40, 50 years. Wow. And I think that I don't know. There's so many shifts with things now where people change careers so many times that you think about somebody who's done that one thing, right? That they've had that long to really hone their craft. It really, for me, it's very humbling when you think about that. People who have just done it for so many years. I think it's just like when you see physicians, right? You want to. A lot of times, people have a tendency. Is there one here that's got more gray hair than you? Because the experience factor. There's a lot of wisdom just from doing it. That you go, whatever you're seeing or encountering, they've probably seen it multiple times or done it multiple times.
Well, and when you love something and love what you do.
Yeah, never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
There was I brought that up about aging animals because the little dog that we got, we obviously ended up keeping her. She ended up being, I've got 2 great dogs right now,
Sure.
but I named her Jenny because I was a big Forrest Gump guy, and I just remember this.
Jenny.
Yeah, and that's 100% what I did. I was renting this little small 800 square foot house. Had a chance to buy that house, by the way, for $60,000, and I thought it was overpriced. Well, it's in downtown Georgetown. That house now worth about $400,000.
Yeah.
And but it's whatever. And you can't look back; got to look ahead.
That place has changed a lot, man. Golly.
But it was neat. I was sitting on the porch. All of a sudden, this little dog just comes running down the street. And I'll never forget, she ran up and she was just so friendly, and I started scratching her neck. But that's when I found all the burrs, and her fur was just outrageous. She was a cross between like a collie and a black lab. She was this. Well, I guess it couldn't have been I don't know what mix she was. Let's just say she was a beautiful little dog. Mm-hmm. No, it was chow. She had some chow in her because her tongue had the spots.
Yeah.
But she was also like smaller. She wasn't real big, but she also wasn't super tiny. So she was kind of in the middle. And I'll never forget, she ran up and I started scratching. And I said, my girl, Jenny. And that's where the name started. And then
the rest
I was
is
like,
history.
I was like, I can't keep this dog, though. It's someone's dog, obviously, but no one claimed her. But I brought that up about the aging because everybody told me she was between 3 and 4 years old. Mm-hmm. Well, based on that, whenever you mentioned earlier, it's like, there's no way this dog was 20. I always use that math, and I was like, no, she'd live to be after 20 then if that was the case, because we had her a long time. And the thing that to this day still breaks my heart, we lived on a cul-de-sac, 3/4 of an acre, and it was a weird trapezoid lot, but it was all wooded area behind us. It was really kind of a unique setup. And we had a ton of deer in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Well, she was so loyal that she'd never run off, and we didn't have a fence, so I'd just leave her out, and she would hang out around the cul-de-sac. All the kids loved her, all the neighbors, and she would chase the deer. And she could run really fast, and I've got video of her still where she was running, chasing. That was her favorite. That was her pastime.
Yeah,
like
her favorite activity.
Yeah, America's pastimes, baseball. Dogs' pastimes,
chasing deer.
Chasing deer. And she was the sweetest dog. What we ultimately had to do one day, our neighbor was smoking this brisket for like 48 hours. Well, he had put it on their little picnic table. Well, she went over there and decided to unsmoke that brisket and smoke, And so it went in her belly, and he came over and said, "Man, got to do something about this dog, Rob. She's sweet, but she just ate my brisket." So I gave him a $50 bill, and I said, "I'm sorry. I tried to pay him off, didn't we? But she ended up being almost 20 years old. This is a thing that I was saying that broke my heart, Doc, is that, I just got kind of in this mundane routine, and this is kind of where I'm leading with another question for you about how important this is, because I know that you'll say this is so important. I just got in this mundane routine of just taking it for granted how healthy she was.
Sure.
I mean, literally up until 6 months of her life, she didn't look like she aged. I was like, this dog's going to live forever.
Sure.
She didn't even have any gray until the last. It just came on suddenly. Well, I noticed she started getting down really, really quick. And, for the first maybe 14 years, 15 years I had her, I would give her heart medicine just habitually. I would never forget. And then just got into this routine of something one day happened, and then all of a sudden I'm forgetting to give her heartworm. Yeah. She ultimately succumbs to heartworms. Of everything else, they did dental work on her at like 14. The doc was like, "We normally don't do this, but she's in perfect. This is like a 2-year-old puppy still."
Yeah.
So I know that for you as a veterinarian, it is so important to make sure that just like our vehicles, and we're changing the oil, we need to make sure that we're taking care of the routine things that our pets need taken care of, like heartworm medicine.
No, it's true. They actually did a study. It came out, I think it's been 10 plus years ago, and it really kind of caused a lot of waves in the profession because they pulled all this data from all over the country, and they found that it wasn't all the fancy stuff that we have the capability for. It's great with the advances in science and technology, and in turn the advances in medicine that we see kind of roll over into the veterinary side of things. All the capabilities that we have to treat different things and manage different things, and that's great. But they found the data basically said that it's really the nuts and bolts. It's basic checkups, keeping up with vaccines, giving your dog heartworm and flea medication. They actually found that stuff, the study concluded that, dogs that just got the basics, right? The people that just took them in and they got their checkup and they stuck with the usual stuff, lived longer and were healthier, right? And so that, coupled with nutrition and things like that. But basic preventative is, I'm very frank with people on a daily basis, which doesn't always make me the most popular guy around. But I think that when it comes to preventative, the crux has always been, it's something that there's room for error, right? Because, the owner comes in and they say, okay, I'm getting my dog's heartworm preventative, and they buy a box of 6, or they buy 12 months, or they buy whatever. They come in once a month sometimes and get it. Well, they go home and life happens, right? They, like somebody like me, right? Married, business, 3 kids, between work, church, kids, extracurricular stuff, we all get busy, right? And so sometimes owners, they miss a month, or they miss a couple of months, or, they think the other, the spouse is doing it. And sometimes they look up and they're like, why do we have a couple extra doses? We should be out by now. And, I'm the first one to admit, I'm honest. Like, there were times that my wife was like, hey, did you give Rooster his pill? And I'm like, and all of a sudden you're going and checking. You're like, oh man, I haven't given it this. Whoa, there's an extra. I didn't give it last month. And you're thinking, yeah. So I'm a big proponent. There's an injectable heartworm preventative called ProHeart. That again, obviously, I don't work for the company, but I think it's a good product because for situations like that, it comes in a 6-month or a 12-month variety, right?
Cool. So didn't know that.
So yeah, it's been around for 20 plus years. That was what they were using, exclusively over in other countries. And when they first went to bring it to the U.S., the FDA was kind of like, I don't know about this, like a once-a-year shot for heartworms, because everything has been so indoctrinated with once a month. And so the company that had it at the time made a 6-month variety. We're like, here, we'll scale it down. And so the FDA kind of approved it then, and the company that had it went belly up, and then it got bought out and got tabled by Pfizer Animal Health, which is now called Zoetis, but basically Pfizer Animal Health. And it was under their portfolio. And then they sort of went through the whole process of sort of rebranding it, relabeling it, everything. And so we've been using it for several years at the clinic. I like it because it's extremely economical, so it's very affordable. It's safe, and it's just it takes that factors like that, right? So like when a dog's in for his vaccines, hey, we're going to give them this. Boom, they're good for a year, or they're good for 6 months. And so the first question I usually get asked is, hey, do y'all have something like that for fleas and ticks? And apparently that's in R&D, apparently that's coming down the pipe. So the companies are sort of rumbling that. So I like things like that just from the convenience factor, because people, they don't have to do anything, right? They can, hey, we do this, it's safe, it's affordable, it's kind of a win-win.
The one question I have, we're going to take a break here in just a second, Dr. V, and then we'll have you back, of course. But
sure.
Before we go to break, question that I've always had is, like Heart Guard, those kind, the
sure.
chewables.
Yeah.
Our pets love them because they think it's treats.
Yep.
And if I give them like the other pill, the Golden, the Goldens are smart. They know, And my other little one, I didn't know there was a dog called a Blue Lacy. I found that out.
State dog of Texas.
And that's right. I had no clue. I was like, and everyone that I asked that to, they're, what's a Blue Lacy? I said, state dog of Texas.
That's right.
It's a state dog, just like the blue one is the flower. But my question that I've always had, I've never asked this, and I'm glad you're here this morning. Why is something like a Heart Guard? Why do you have to have a prescription to get that? Mm-hmm. It's not over the counter like other type, like flea and those kind of things.
No, how all that works, because that's always a source of contention sometimes. Right, all those different medications, because of how they're labeled. They wind up being prescription, veterinary use only, but available only through prescription. the American Heartworm Society, and sometimes when we talk about these sort of agencies or regulatory bodies, right, sometimes people are like, are you serious, right? But the American Heartworm Society is kind of a body that sort of decides guidelines and makes recommendations, right? And so they say basically, hey, this is how you should be dispensing this medication. This is how you should be testing dogs that are on the medication, because that's always a common question people will ask. Why are you even testing the dog? I give them their pill every month. But it's amazing, when you look at the data, like how many dogs you catch strike-through cases where even if the owners gave it, unless you're watching the dog, maybe they vomited it up. There's resistant forms of Heartworm disease now, which, it's not a national issue, but they exist. And so they're trying, just like epidemiological stuff, they're trying to keep the prevalence of it under control, keep a beat on things. And so, there can be adverse reactions if dogs, right? Like, so if it was just willy-nilly handed out and dispensed and prescribed, if somebody come in, hey, I just want to get that for my dog. Actually, dogs can have adverse reactions. So it's something, that's why it's kind of labeled the way it is and under prescription use only.
Well, that makes sense. Whenever you did, I didn't know that there was something called the American Heartworm Society.
Sure.
Someone will hear that word and they'll think it's a bunch of, guys that are in their 70s sitting at a country club, sipping on a whiskey, smoking a cigar, saying, we are the American Heartworm Society.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never been to a meeting, but no, there's all sorts of regulatory bodies and agencies and groups that are constantly making recommendations and giving guidelines and making standards of care for veterinary stuff, just like they do for human stuff.
In all seriousness, it's important that we have that, and I'm glad you explained that, because I never knew, and that makes a lot of sense, because that's one of the most critical things that I think as a consumer, for me on the outside looking in, not knowing your industry, is, and that heartworm stuff is serious business.
It is.
And it affected me personally, and when I lost my Jenny, when I lost that little dog, though, I mean, that like shattered my world for a while. It really did, because I look at pets like, now cats, that's a whole different story. I'm not hating on the cats, but I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I love cats when they're somebody else's.
Sure.
And I do. My mom has some cats. I'll scratch them, but it's not. Cats are okay. But dogs, to me, I mean, I have children now, so I'm not going to say the dog is my child, but it's part of the family.
No, I understand.
Sure. So. Well, we're going to step aside, take a break. We've got some more questions with Dr. V. Our friend Clay Tousworth just walked into the house over here with some of this delicious candy that we'll be giving away today, and we appreciate Clay bringing that. Look at this, man. This is like delivery service. We're going to have to start paying Clay some big bucks, man. Have you ever had these, Dr. V?
I have not.
So this is Clay Tousworth of 0 Degree Candy. He freeze dries candy. Are you a Skittles guy? Do you like Skittles?
I do.
The problem that I've always had, you're like, man, come on. The problem that I've always had with Skittles is that they're too chewy and sticky. When you freeze dry them, they turn into like this popcorn Skittle.
Really?
It's the most unbelievable. And it retains all the flavor. So now you got a crunchy Skittle, none of the sticky side effects in a crunchy Skittle. You're good to go.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. And so we're going to be giving that away today. We do have some questions that's coming in, or some folks that are chiming in, so we'll get to those as well. Before we do take a break, let me see if I can find the right one. This week's keyword, fun. Fun, I was going to put candy, but I was like, we'll just call it fun this week. We're glad to be back. We're having some fun. This week's keyword is fun. We'd love for you to text that in on the Granny Mary's Cajun Asian Cuisine text line at 936-339-0139. Please text in the keyword along with your name, so the word fun along with your name, please, to 936-339-0139. And here is the reveal of where the mistake has been all for the last 2 months. Do you have any idea, Kay, what the mistake has been?
I know what it is.
You know what it is? Mm-hmm. You know what it is?
Yeah.
There's been a mistake on the show, Dr. V, and like I said when we came on, I started flapping my gums and said, whoever figures it out gets $100. My man, Quentin, Music Man Williams, works over at First National. He messaged me and said, Rob, I finally know what it is, man. And it's something on this, something on here that has been wrong for 2 months. And our friends at Walker County Federal Credit Union caught it. They're the ones that brought it up. And, and that's where it is.
Oh, cuisine.
Yep, there it is. Cuisine. I gave away a lot of hints. This was something that we did for 2 weeks, and someone finally got it. The word cuisine. That's my fault, not Randolph Thompson. That is 100% on me, because I drew up that little logo, and luckily I didn't create the logo for him, because if I did, it would have been on his trailer and everywhere else. The word cuisine was wrong, and so Quentin Music Man Williams got that correct. It was misspelled, and I'm going to leave it like that for the next week, just so folks can enjoy it, and those that never figured it out will be like, why didn't I get that? So we're going to have fun with that. But we're going to do more such as this. We're bringing a secret sound program here, or secret sound giveaway that we're going to start doing as well, and we're looking for a sponsor for that. It's going to be something every day that we will have a secret sound, and money will add up every single day that people don't get it. And so it'll just keep...
It's not going to be the horn?
Well, the horn's easy to figure out. It's going to be something just random. You got to figure out what it is, and folks can text in to that, and we're going to call a few people each day. But what's cool about it, if you don't get it, the cool thing is we're just going to keep adding money to the pot every single day. I've seen some of these contests go with the radio station in Austin. I mean, someone had ended up winning over $1,000 just because it kept piling up. So we're going to have to think of some, maybe we can call you, get some weird like animal sounds.
I've got some weird sounds.
So we'll put that up. For now, though, we'll step aside. We'll take a break as we continue on this morning. Stay with us as we are here live back in the Elliott's Jewelers broadcast studio, and our good friends Kaye from Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools bringing you the show here, as always, on a Thursday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. As always, Huntsville, it's your show. We'll be right back after national news and more here on Good Morning Huntsville.
USA News, I'm Lance Pry. An illegal immigrant from Peru has been charged with murder after being arrested by police in Texas. Maverick County Sheriff's Office confirmed that 64-year-old Roberto Emilio Vazquez Santamaria was arrested in connection to a homicide that happened Monday in Eagle Pass, Texas. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers say Vazquez Santamaria crossed illegally into Texas in May and was released into the United States with a court date of 2025. Zero information is being released about the person he's to have allegedly murdered. Ford Motor Company narrowly avoided a dual labor strike in the United States and Canada, with automaker and the Canadian union, Unifor, announcing a tentative deal last night. Unifor, which represents roughly 18,000 workers at Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis plants in Canada, threatened to go on strike at all three Ford's plants in that country if a deal was not reached. We could be saying goodbye to year-round football in the United States. The USFL and XFL are in talks to merge spring football leagues. The leagues hope to finalize a merger for the 2024 season. The deal would reportedly need regulatory approval. It is unclear whether the broadcast of the games and where they might go. The USFL appeared on Fox and NBC, while XFL broadcasts have been shown on ESPN and ABC. The UAW strike against American automakers could intensify.
United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain has set a new strike deadline if significant progress isn't achieved in contract talks by noon on Friday, September 22nd. They will mobilize additional local unions to join the stand-up strike. Currently, the strike involves 3 auto plants, each representing one of the big 3 automakers. I'm John Schaefer.
USA News.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
We said 1,500 hours.
Dax's hangar flies high thanks to his military precision. He wants to land some aircraft mechanics, preferably with a military background.
Okay, I wasn't aware of a new timeline.
Cancel. Stand by for new assignments.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do.
Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kaye Boehning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life.
When you live and work in the town where you were born and raised, lots of people become just like family. I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. Over the years, we've shared a lot of good times and some tough times, and I'm honored to be the one you call on in your time of need. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, our goal is to help our neighbors in need and always provide the most outstanding service available, even on those really tough days. I thank you for your trust in us. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we're here for you.
I always have to let that build up, you know. I like when the drums kick in.
Anticipation.
Welcome back at it. We're having some fun here on a Wednesday. Doc, is it Wednesday or Wednesday? How do you say it? I always ask everybody kind of these questions.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Huntsville or Huntsville?
Huntsville.
Yeah. Battery or battery?
Battery.
Yeah, battery.
Hey, my grandma said battery. She would always say, "Can you change the batteries in my smoke alarm?" My grandmother, I think she did things on purpose to like run down batteries, so I'd come over. And her light bulbs, I've mentioned on the show before, her light bulbs went out like every 3 months, and I don't know why. They just went out. And she goes, "Can you?" And I miss doing that. That was one of my. I was saying during the break that I'm a guy, but I'll be honest, I get a little emotional sometimes. We all do, and. I was laying down last night on the couch, and I was holding my baby boy, and he's a little over 2 months old, and then my daughter who's 22 months, and I had both of them. She has clung to me like crazy now, and especially because I was gone. She's at that age to where if you're gone, she recognizes when you're back, and she just goes nuts. And I came in last night, and she goes, "I got my daddy back," and she's jumping and going crazy.
It's the best.
But I was holding my son, and you know how you kind of sit there and you put him in your lap and you got your legs propped up when you're on the couch. And, it just hit me last night that my grandmother knew that we were having my daughter. She didn't make it to see the birth of her. She was at the gender reveal we did and everything. She's 93, but she never got to see her or know that I was having a boy. And that just hit me, man. And just tears started flowing down my cheeks last night because my grandma, I talked to her almost every day of my adult life, especially when I was back sports broadcasting and back before, the days of doing it, for Division III programs and getting on the road driving for 5 or 6 hours. Those schools don't fly; they drive.
Yeah. And
I remember just getting on the phone and talking to her for hours during those trips when I was driving because I'd usually go on my own so we always have a message on this show, Doc, and. Is a little bit of inspiration or to lift somebody up. And so maybe that's the word here this morning or the thought this morning is that if you've got a family member that you're close to, cherish those moments. Maybe today you've been saying, I've always wanted to record them talking about our family history or I've always wanted to ask them this. Don't wait. My grandma and I for 20 years talked about recording her, and we never did.
Yeah.
And so think about that today. Think about those family members that are in your life that you just cherish so much. And maybe you have it. Maybe it's a grandparent. Maybe it's an aunt or an uncle. I was thinking of my uncle the other day that's almost 90, and he had a huge influence on my life. And I need to get down to Pearsall and see him down in South Texas. And so think about that today, friends, as you're waking up and really cherish. There's some folks saying, I don't want to cherish that person. I'm like, well, don't cherish that person, but that one that you're thinking about, hold them close, get on the phone today and talk to them, because we never know. I always say it in past tense because I don't ever want to speak something and then it happens. So I always say, they could have been gone yesterday. I won't say that they'll be gone tomorrow. So I always say they could have went gone yesterday. Somebody said, you could step outside today and get hit by a bus. I said, you better change your stinking thinking, man. And you need to say, you could have stepped outside yesterday and got hit by a bus.
True.
Don't be telling me that's going to happen tomorrow, man. Yeah. So we are back here with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, our good friend Kaye Boehning, and special guest today as Dr. V joining us from Long Veterinary Clinic. Good to have you in the house talking to us
Good
today.
to be here.
Just a few more questions for me. I know Kaye may have a couple of questions as well, but one thing that you had mentioned when we were chatting off air before you came on earlier this morning, Dr. Vodehnal, was your connection to Sam Houston State University and being involved there. Of course, that's a major employer right in our backyard, but more importantly, just a tremendous resource for folks to further their education. I was going to ask for you specifically at Sam, what was that journey like there? Kind of what did you specifically study at Sam? And just wanted to give you an opportunity to highlight the university through your experience.
Sure. No, when I came to Sam Houston, I had 2 years of, junior college and, was ready to kind of transition to the, university. And so when I came here to Sam Houston, I was an animal science major, a science minor was what my undergrad was in. And so I was kind of doing that to make application for vet school and had a great time. It was interesting because my choice was Sam Houston. My parents really wanted me to go to A&M, so I applied and got accepted and came to Sam Houston. But I didn't know anybody here. It was kind of one of those things that I had been to Sam Houston once for like an FFA state leadership thing, and I just really thought it was just a cool place, cool campus, neat town, and wound up coming to school here and had a great experience. I think the program under the it's all under the College of Agriculture and that's all under the Arts and Sciences, but it was a fantastic program. It was just the professors, as far as the relationships with the students, right? Just you weren't lost in the crowd, right? And that was one of the things that really appealed to me why I came here. I didn't want to go and sit in some class for my program and, the professor doesn't know me from Adam and I'm in there with 200 or 300 plus other people, right? It was something that, you got to know your professors and they were really vested in your success and helping you however they could. And so that was a process that I had such a great experience that, and had the opportunity to come back and do a teaching assistantship, a graduate assistantship there at the department and got to, get to know them even more, just kind of as a graduate student and working kind of alongside them and, still have relationships with various people who are still there today. And so, excuse me, I employ a lot of college kids. And so, it was one of those things that I've had several that have come through the department, based on recommendations from, some of the professors that are still there. And so, when I'm kind of needing staff and I'm needing folks, I always like to look to that because I go, those were some of the doors and opportunities that were made available to me that kind of helped keep me on the track that I was on. And I've had several great young people come through who have they're in vet school right now, right? And so it's something that it's been a tremendous resource, and so it's always something that I'm always happy to help out and kind of maintain that tie there.
So did you always want to be a vet?
Actually, no. I wanted to be a pediatrician. I wanted to be. I was always from the time I was a kid. I was in the doctor a lot. I had tons of ear problems, and wound up having to get tubes in the ears and all that kind of stuff. But I think just going to the doctor a lot I was always interested and curious, and I decided I was going to be a pediatrician. And it was one of those things. I decided this when I was probably like 9 or 10. And then I didn't change like every year. That's what I was going to do. And so, where kids, they want to be a fireman one week and then they want to be an astronaut and then they want to be a whatever, like for years, it never changed. And when I was in high school, I wound up getting a job at the local vet clinic. and got hired there July of '98. So it was the summer before my senior year of high school, and within a few weeks of being around the guy that's my mentor, like I was like, this guy, this is what I want to do. And so he mentored me, and kind of in that sense of what still exists in so many professions, right? He recognized that's what I wanted to do, and he invested in me. And I think that we need so much more of that today for people to really to commit to helping people, and to be successful, right? And so, there's no doubt. I'm very honest with people. He is, in my life, there's been so many doors that God has opened, but like he's one of those people that there's not a doubt in my mind he was placed in my, he directly changed the trajectory of things for me as far as, showing me that sort of career path. And then, for so many years in so many countless ways, just helped me to get to where I am today. And so, it's still a relationship that's extremely precious to me, and I'm grateful for. Again, I was on the phone with him yesterday for about 30 minutes, and I always when I'm on the phone with him or see him, it's just always such a great conversation, a great time to have.
That's great. I'm so glad that you mentioned, your mentor and those that have really just kind of helped guide you, because, there's a lot of folks out there that feel so inadequate. They think maybe they're not making a difference. And
sure,
I always say, look, friends, you don't have to get on a platform of 1 million people. It could be that one person.
Mm-hmm.
And I throw a little spiritual aspect to it, where Jesus came for that one person.
Mm-hmm.
You have the ability to come for that one person and to make a difference. And so today, if you're waking up and maybe, I know we talked about the message earlier about just clinging to your family, but maybe you feel inadequate this morning. Hopefully that Dr. V has shared just about his journey have inspired you to know that, you can make a difference as well. And all you got to do is just support someone, be there for them, hug on them when they're down, hug on them when they're up, and just let them know that, hey, here's what we think and what's going on in your life, and here's what I think, and can I breathe a little life into you? And I think
sure,
it's important that we do life together. So.
We all need encouragement.
Awesome. Well, Dr. V, it's been such a privilege having you here today. Kaye, did you have any other questions for Dr. V today?
What's the best and worst part about being a vet?
I think the best part is, at least for me, is the relationships that you build with people. So often veterinary medicine is always looked at, it's all about the animals, and that part is so rewarding. But I also, what was always appealing to me was, you get to know people, and you get to know them, and you know their kids, and hey, how'd that trip y'all went on go, and you get to build all those relationships. And so it's a constant reminder, daily, weekly, monthly, that how all of our lives are kind of interconnected in so many ways that you don't realize. So I think that, to me, that's one of the best parts that can be so rewarding. Obviously, I think the worst part is when you're dealing with the part, obviously the part that nobody likes to talk about, but like end of life stuff, where you have pets and patients that are have terminal illnesses, or something catastrophic happens, and you're having to make end of life considerations and consider humane euthanasia. It's always such a difficult thing for so many people, and it's something that a lot of times it's hard in veterinary medicine, because you're trying to be a voice of to be a patient advocate, if you will, right? Because owners are seeking your expertise or your guidance. Hey, should we be doing this? Should we wait? And trying to kind of do that and be compassionate and be sensitive and be objective, and also kind of you trying to keep it all together, because owners are usually emotional, and they probably don't want to see you losing it. So it's hard to sometimes internalize all that and deal with it. And so I think it's always trying to that's obviously, I think, not to keep going on about it, but I think that's probably the hardest part of the job.
I was going to be a vet all through elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was about 6th or 7th grade when I found out that some people put down perfectly healthy animals.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no. I can't do that.
Yeah, and convenience euthanasia is kind of, at least amongst the profession, is what that's termed, where somebody's moving and, well, I can't take the dog, and they just want to show up and, well, hey, I can't take the dog with me, and so I need to put it to sleep. And it's kind of become more well addressed now than it used to be. It used to be something where people, well, I don't really have a choice. And now they've kind of restructured some of the language in it to where now you as a veterinarian can say, hey, unfortunately, I don't do convenience euthanasia, right? And so, I mean, it upsets sometimes people because people go, well, you're putting me in a tight spot, and it's just one of those things that sometimes we all have kind of a moral, ethical prism that at the end of the day, you need to be able to look yourself in the mirror and lay your head down at night and go to sleep, and that's going to be different for each individual. So it's something that everybody has to make that decision on their own.
Well, Dr. V, such a privilege and a blessing to have you here this morning, man. Just
appreciate being here.
Yeah, to hear your story. I mean, we got everything but a couple of your credit cards and your Social Security number. So I think we did pretty well, man. So, but no, in all seriousness, just loved hearing your story, and we just hope and pray that's an inspiration to someone else. Maybe there's a grandparent watching today saying, I've got a grandchild, or a mom or a dad saying that they have a child that has been interested in becoming a veterinarian, and maybe today hearing your story and your journey is going to inspire them. Especially whenever you mentioned you're going to the Caribbean. Was that what it was?
Oh, yeah. It was St. Kitts.
Yeah, so that'll inspire a lot of people to say, all right, I'm going, man.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he got much time off while he was there.
Yeah. It's not.
My wife probably had more fun than I did, right?
Well, for more information, too, you can go to the website at longvetclinic.com. I'll put the link up for those of you that are joining us across the multiple social media streams today. Again, longvetclinic.com is where you go to find out more information. Some comments before we let you go, Doctor, that Irma Dowden, good friend of mine, chiming in. She says, we use Dr. V at Long Vet. Said recently lost her fur baby, Ella, and he was so honest and compassionate. I mean, that's great, man. Not great, obviously, that Irma lost her pet, but just the compassion. That's so important. So, Irma, we love you. Always great to hear from you. And she was chiming in. A lot of messages came in. I didn't get a chance to get to these, but one of them, too, was our good friend Carolyn Gibson said that she's been using Long Vet Clinic since 1976.
Yes.
And she said they are the best, so caring and kind. So it's good to hear from Miss Gibson, 1976, all the way back there with Dr. V, right? No, just kidding. Man.
I wasn't even alive then. But no, Miss Gibson's great.
Also, Aline joining us, Supak, saying Dr. V's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of friends this morning chiming in, and Aline, by the way, too, said I'd recommend him to everyone. So
I appreciate it.
So really great. And Quentin Music Man Williams is putting up the little emojis there saying, ha, I got you, Rob, $100 coming my way. So appreciate it, Quentin. It's coming your way, I promise, man. So
yeah, Dr. V's been wonderful with.
We appreciate it.
We had 3 fur babies, and 2 have since passed. But you were very, very helpful and very kind to keep all 3 of them alive as long as they are, because they're very elderly. But the 2 that passed, I mean, just
sure.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate the kind words. It's one of those things that always. A person's recommendation, the trust they place in you, is not something we take lightly.
About to get me crying.
Well, we'll wrap it up with Dr. V here again. Check him out, longvetclinic.com. Go over there. Clay came in here a while ago, brought in some Dr. V, can you hold that up in front of that camera right there? This is what we're giving away. These are the freeze-dried. It's a $35 tub of Skittles. I mean, and trust me, it's worth every single penny.
I'm going to have to try these freeze-dried Skittles.
Yeah, they're good, man. So we're giving those away today. All you got to do is text in the keyword. I'll give that to you. Kaye and I will wrap it up when we come back. We'll talk about Lasso, too. Are we giving away something? Yeah. What are we giving away along with that candy today, Kaye?
You're giving away a free ticket to Lasso.
Oh, look at this. Hey, Doc, hold this up, too, for us, if you don't mind. And this is a free Lasso Your Imagination ticket that is also being given away today. And Kaye, we'll talk a little bit more about this on the other side. For now, though, we'll step aside, take a break. Go ahead and continue to send in those text messages. All you got to do is text in the keyword FUN and text that in alongside your name to 936-339-0139. Dr. V, thanks again for being here, my friend.
Thank you all for having me.
We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come as we continue on here. It is your show, Huntsville, as always. Good morning, Huntsville. We'll be right back after this.
Place in Huntsville and now in Conroe, where you're more than a customer, you're part of the family. A place where style meets comfort and every visit feels like a treat. Welcome to the Color Bar Hair Salon. From the moment you walk in, our friendly stylists work to create a look that's perfect for you. Whether it's a fresh cut, a vibrant new color, or a blowout for that special occasion, at the Color Bar, we've got you covered. We pride ourselves on creating an environment where our guests can relax, enjoy a beverage, and let us do the pampering. We use top-notch products like Kevin Murphy and Orby, and even offer Valami hair extensions for those looking to add a little extra flair. And when it's got to be perfect, we ensure you leave looking and feeling your best self. But don't just take our word for it. Book a reservation or buy a gift card online and experience it firsthand. Visit us online at colorbartx.com and discover why, at the Color Bar Hair Salon, you get an experience that goes beyond. The Color Bar, where you belong. See you soon. Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kaye Boehning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life. This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Rocking out here on here we go, Kaye, you ready? All right, we're just gonna let this one keep rolling. Is that all right?
Just don't ask me to sing.
We won't be. I don't. How do you sing to that? Wow, everything is going crazy. That's one of those type of songs, right? Yeah, enough of that.
I am not musically talented.
Carolyn Gibson, we played that for you this morning to bring you back in. So welcome back into Good Morning Huntsville. A lot of other friends, I didn't get to them. Hey, I'm going to ask you, Scoot, we'll just slide down just a bit there. You know, this is one day where we're going to have help because, you know me, I'm hopping up in the middle, readjusting cameras. It's a lot of. That's how I get my exercise. That's why I don't exercise during the day. I exercise enough on the show in between segments, bouncing around. So
I thought maybe you got your calories in by, using your calories by talking.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. It's, at first I thought maybe I was talking too much. That's why my throat started getting sore last week. But nope, that wasn't the case. A lot of other folks were joining us, and I wanted to always try to make sure that we get to folks that chime in. Our friends from the Lost Picture Show, say they came on early. They said, Rub's eyes, good morning, Huntsville. So appreciate you. Well, actually, they put Hunts v. ZZZ. They went back to sleep. So appreciate it. Jerica, our good friend from Fargo, North Dakota, joining us. Good to hear from you, Jerica. Jennifer Augustinetti, congratulations, by the way. She has a new job now. She said that she won't be able to hang out the entire show, but she can still join us earlier in the morning. And so good morning to you, Jennifer. And I love it. She always has a thing. Wonderful Wednesday. It's also Kaye's Wisdom Wednesday. And I just kind of tossed that at you. I know we didn't talk about it in between the segments. But Kay's always real good with Wednesday wisdom on the fly. You got any wisdom for us?
Well,
this
there's
morning,
two.
Kay? Okay. You were ready. Look at this.
Well,
I thought you were like, boom, we're already ready.
Dr. V forgot to say Bob Barker's famous line, which is don't forget to spay and neuter your pets.
Please.
And I don't have the statistics, but it's like one cat can produce like 3,000 or 4,000 or 15,000 cats, the offspring of the offspring of the offspring. It's a crazy amount. And I asked him the figure, and he couldn't remember the figure. But there's
this is like terrifying me.
Thousands of cats can be produced from one unspayed cat.
Yeah, get your cats taken care of, please, because no.
Well, and dogs too.
Yeah, but that's all right. I wouldn't mind 500 dogs running around, but cats, I don't think so.
You would when they start turning feral and eating things.
Yeah, you said that you got a bunch of them, where y'all are at, like on y'all's street, and I'm only a street behind you.
No, not out in Elkins. Over
okay.
at the school.
I was about to say
there's a bunch of feral cats. They're trapping them and spaying them over
good.
there.
Well, I was about to say if it was on your street, keep them on your street because I didn't want them coming over to ours.
No. It's probably that cat you let loose.
Yeah,
that you didn't want in your house.
Cat in the hat got out. So what was the other wisdom?
The other one is, your words are very powerful. And, if along the lines, if you can't say something nice, don't say it. But, try to think of what you can say. So instead of being negative, and I'm beating myself up on this one because I came home yesterday and was in a very bad mood. But if you can't say something nice, find out what you can say.
Yeah, it's a good message.
Find a positive thing to say.
I like that. If you can't say something nice, find something. If you can't
that you can find.
That you can find.
That you can say nice.
That you can say nice. Yeah, I think that's good.
Because we're always so good about, rob this. But and every time I complain about you, and then I go to Susie and complain about you, and I go to Sally and complain about you. I'm giving more and more power to that. Mm-hmm. Where if I would just come up with, what can I say nice about Rob instead of complaining about him?
Yeah, and it's honestly complaining all the time about me, Kay, and it kind of makes. No, I'm just totally kidding. There's never any complaining, Kay.
But look for that something good that you can say, and then you're not feeding the negative.
Yeah, maybe teach your children that too. If you can't say something nice, find something nice to say. Because I think that was nothing on my parents, but, I've heard it from numerous other parents. If you can't find something nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's an old school mentality. It's 2023. Start saying something nice to somebody. And we'll sing a song about it. Say something nice to somebody. There's my weekly singing to get you back in. All right, Kay, been a fun one. Lasso your imagination. We're going to talk all Lasso next week. It's going to be a great program where we're going to highlight all the sponsors, all the great folks that are helping to make this event possible. We'll talk more about how it benefits the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. But give us a quick plug before we go today and before we call our winner.
We're now sponsoring 886 children.
Awesome.
Per month. We've graduated 717 children. So we've sent out over 36,000 books, and all those books have Jesus Loves You on them, on the mailing label. So we're reminding the children about Jesus and positivity and things, along with getting the excitement of getting a book in.
You talked a lot about, the folks that are helping this event. By the way, Tomorrow's Promise is a 501c3 nonprofit, and these events like the Color Run and, of course, Lasso Your Imagination, it all goes. These books, they're free to the children, but as you know, there's got to be somebody paying for something somewhere. Dolly Parton pays for the books, but there has to be a shipping cost. The United States Postal Service, even though they lose billions of dollars, it's kind of great. I wish I could run a business that loses billions of dollars every year and still be in business. But, hey, that's our government. But they obviously don't ship these books for free. And so Kaye and Kaye is the reason that this program is here in Huntsville. There's still so many people that don't even know about it. And we try to educate, honestly, every show people about the show or about the program. But, friends, look.
And 886 is not. It's a lot, but it's not how many I want to send.
Yeah.
I want to send twice that many.
And there's more than 886 here in Huntsville. So these books are free, 0 through 5th grade. All you got to do is go to Dolly Parton.
5 years old, not 5th grade.
Oh, 5 years old, yeah. So through 5th grade, or through 5 years old, 5 years old.
Well, it affects where you need to teach and reach the children the most, because 90% of your brain development happens those first 5 years. And so you need to get in there those first 5 years, and those early learning experiences make all the difference for success later on in life.
So we're giving away candy today. We're giving away a ticket. Kaye, what's the value of this ticket, by the way?
$50.
$50 ticket here. And this is the ticket for Lasso Your Imagination, the big fundraising event. And a big thank you to all the sponsors that are helping to make this possible. Color Bar, by the way, was a year of coloring going on?
Yes, Color Bar's given a year.
Wow. So
whoever wins that auction can get their hair taken care of for a year.
$50 ticket. This is an event taking place October the 14th. If you end up winning today and can't make it to this event, please let us know whenever you come by to pick up your prize, and we'll keep the ticket and give it away to someone else. Or, better yet, find somebody that you can give it to. If you can go, buy the other ticket, and then you can take your other significant other. And so, but a great value, going to be some great food. You mentioned Stacy Lawler and Billy Papania. I know it's Papania, but I like to say Papania. So it's going to be a fun time, and we're going to be out there as well. So I'm looking forward. I'll be out there.
Well, you're going to be one of the MCs.
The co-MC alongside our good friend Matt, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be out there.
And there's a QR code on there where they can register.
Boom, right there. We're giving that away. And Kaye, who are we giving it away to? Well, let's find out real quick.
Not Rick.
Not Rick. Sorry, Rick, you're not winning, buddy. He's probably all excited, thinking, who I'm going to get this one. Well, Rick, love you, man, but sorry, not going to win it. Here we go. Let's go ahead and pick the winner. And she's won before, but that's all right. This is someone that has won before, and we're going to go ahead and get them on the phone. You know what's funny? She won the Skittles before. This is great.
You're funding an addiction now.
Yeah, man, it's all right.
Or trying to create one.
It's all right. Here we go. Got to
How do you know she won the Skittles before?
Because I remember.
Hello?
Hello. Winner, chicken dinner.
Hi.
Winner, chicken dinner again.
Oh, my gosh.
The randomizer picked, and you won. And guess what you won? Something that you've won before.
More Skittles. I saw that was the prize this morning. I was like, okay, well, I have to enter again because they were such a hit.
Well, we had quite a handful of folks entering in to win, and unfortunately, those other folks didn't win. You know, there was about 15 or so that came in this morning, and you're the lucky winner today, Miss Rachel Drake. So congratulations.
Well, thanks.
Did those other Skittles, did you share them with the office?
I did. I shared them with the office and with some friends. They did not last very long because we shared them so much. So they were a big hit.
Rachel, I feel like I owe you another prize, don't I, or not?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna bring by. I got down and out last week. I'm better now, so I'm gonna bring by the Skittles this morning along with that other prize too. So it's just another goodie bag. So if there's things in there that you already received before, just hand them off to someone else. But there's something in here that you have not received before, and it is a free ticket to the Lasso Your Imagination also. And so I'm going to include that ticket as well. And if you're not able to attend on October the 14th, I know someone there at CASA probably will be able to. So just, hand that off. And but we'd love for you to come if you can, for sure.
Perfect. I will. If I can't go, I'll make sure someone uses it.
All right. Are you at the office today?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, I don't have to go interview Coach Schaub at New Waverly because they don't have a game this week. So I'll come by and drop that off. And congratulations, you are the winner.
Thank you.
And what are you thankful for today?
I am thankful for some quiet time to focus on work. That we are often very busy, and so we're kind of just got through our big conference, and so things are a little bit slow before they pick up again. So it's nice.
Awesome. I met one of y'all staff members this weekend at HL, or I say weekend, it felt like a weekend. Miss Rosa, wonderful lady.
Yes.
So,
she's incredible.
She was delightful.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. Provided some great input during the week as well. So, all right, Rachel Drake. Well, hey, have a blessed day. Enjoy those Skittles, and I'll make sure when I drop them off that I'll go ahead and take a handful of them first, and then we'll get them to you.
You can if you want. That's fine.
All right. Have a blessed day. Thanks, Rachel.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, there she is. Rachel Drake, winner again for the second time. But she's also got that Lasso Your Imagination ticket, and that she did not receive, obviously, last month. So a lot of fun. All you got to do is text in every day. You got a chance to win, just like Rachel. And these prizes are always fun. Sometimes they're edible. You never know what you're going to get. So
Don't eat the ticket.
Yeah, don't eat the ticket. Oh, and by the way, look what else we have. Okay. Oh, we got this one. Here, we'll hold this one up. Oh, check it out. What else do we have? Boom. We're giving away Skittles all week. Big thanks to Clay for hooking us up with these this week. And, God, those are so good. I'm going to have to buy when he comes next time to buy stuff, I'm going to ask him to bring an extra. I'm going to buy it from him because those are so incredibly good. So Kay's over here like, we'll just slip one over here right now. So, all right, well, that'll wrap it up today, friends. So great to be back, and we appreciate you, Huntsville. We want to stay engaged and make sure that we are highlighting all the good happening in our community. Well, what's good coming up this weekend? Touch a Truck happening. So a great opportunity to bring your children down and be involved in that event getting underway on Saturday. You can go to HelloHuntsvilleTX.com for more information. That is such a cool event, and I was so looking forward to it. But we have some very dear friends in Georgetown with twin little girls that are having their birthday, and they have asked us to come to the birthday party. So they have not seen baby Caden yet, and Braylon is finally at that fun age to where she can kind of walk around and play and all that. And so we're going to head to Georgetown actually Friday afternoon and then just spend a Friday evening and then Saturday all day, and then we'll come back Saturday night. So I got church on Sunday. I don't like missing church.
When we have to go out of town and we miss church with our church family, it's just there's just some
it's empty almost, right?
Yeah, there's just not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, and like when we go visit my folks, prior to them being in the nursing home and prior to COVID, we'd go to their church, and it was nice seeing the families and things like that and connecting with different people, but just not the same. I mean, you just feel like you miss out on stuff.
Yeah, and like watching online, I don't get the same thing out of that because when you watch online, it's kind of like you're relaxed. And I don't say that like in a weird – and if we miss it, I'll watch it online because it's like, hey, I'm going to stay engaged, but it's not the same either.
Well, I mean, like we go to Sunday school at 8 o'clock in the morning, and, we're a family. And – you get the email sent out as to praying about this person or that person or this happened, so you get a consolidation of notes kind of basically about what you talked about in Sunday school, but it's just not the same as being there.
Yep.
And so it's sad to miss. I enjoy
They'll give you a virtual hug. That's not
going
the same.
on vacation and stuff like that and different things, but it's just not the same.
Nope. So get your bottom in a church pew on Sunday.
It's that
that's
connection and that
It is, yeah.
Family and the hugs and
Yep.
people.
That's right. And coming from the best hug in Huntsville, Kaye Boehning. We've coined different folks in town with different things. You know that you're the best hugger in Huntsville. Kaye Boehning will always give you a hug. And if you don't, people are like, "What? Wait a minute, Kaye, what's going on? Did you get my hug today?" And we have the Smile of Huntsville, which is our good friend Emily. So there's different names. Maybe you're going to be named something in Huntsville, and we're going to come up with it on this show. You never know. Quentin, I'm bringing your money too, man, so don't worry. So, all right, friends, that'll wrap it up. Kaye, thank you so much for being here this morning. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Good to be back, and we're going to continue to rock and roll throughout the week. We already have guests lining up that have already been lined up, and so we'll be back at it tomorrow. Justin Killingsworth and the Color Bar will be joining us. I think it may be Birdie again, but definitely someone from the Color Bar will be here. It's going to be tomorrow. Our friend Michelle Spencer, Boys and Girls Club, going to join us on the show. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then we did have a cancellation for Friday. We're looking to get that filled and already spots booking up next week as well. We've got a really special guest coming up next Tuesday. It's a Bearcat alumni. But a friend of mine, John Garrett, he is the CEO of Community Impact. And so if you've heard of that publication, obviously I don't have it here in Huntsville, but they're throughout the Central Texas area. I think they've got one down in the Houston area as well. But it's going to be cool to hear just how his company has grown and then kind of giving it that little Bearcat perspective as well. So I'm really excited to have John Garrett on sharing his story. Friends, as always, we promote our community. That's what we do at Hello Huntsville. We like to say that we promote the good happening here in Huntsville, and there's a lot of good that is going on. Let us know how you're doing, and let us know what good you're seeing as you join us. Be engaged with the show, so many always do. Until next time, though, we'll see you back at it bright and early tomorrow morning. It's your show, Good Morning Huntsville. Until then, thanks for joining us, and have a blessed day, everyone.